Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Pepp, and I am back for a long-awaited, finally new episode of The Couch. And this week's really special because instead of the couch, technically it should be called the bench because that's what I'm sitting on here. I'm out here at Crate Park, which is in say what you want about Freeport. It's an amazing place, and I'm glad to be shooting out here just because this is a place where I've always had a lot of tranquility and peace of mind, and just when I need to write or just clear my mind or just kind of find myself, I come out here. Anyways, I just want to give you guys a quick update. Thank you so much for being patient. I know there's kind of this big gap where production seemed to kind of come to a halt. Winter did give its icy claws kind of on our project, like most things, affected travel and health, so we had to delay some things a little bit, but in doing so, that allows us to continue to push only for what we feel is the adequate product we want to put out there, an adequate message we want to put out there. So what I want to do really quick in this episode is just I want to answer the question, why Novocaine Mutiny? Why that title? For those who don't know, just like most creators and artists, I draw inspiration from many things, lyrically and musically and thematically, and even titularly, which is titles. And one of the places I draw titles from a lot is actually my favorite TV show, MASH. I know it seems like a weird place. Now, those who've never seen MASH and know it's a 70s and 80s show maybe think of it as an old person show, but I really recommend checking it out for those who haven't. It is a kind of show that was way ahead of its time, and it addresses issues like racism and homosexuality and homophobia, I should say, and it addresses hate. It's episodes that just paint a broad stroke brush of what it means to be a person of compassion and kindness in fighting those who restrict compassion and being kind to those who really need that. And it's just an amazingly potent show that really drove a lot of my character and what I feel and how I perceive life and people in it. So, but yeah, so when it comes to titles, both albums and songs, I've always kind of drawn to it just because I've always liked how a lot of their episode titles have always these layered meanings. Like, they are not so direct in your face. A lot of them kind of provoke question and provoke deeper insight and thought into the theme of what's going on beyond the characters and the writing, but the life lesson you can learn. So those who haven't really followed, this is Burns Down's second album that we're releasing. Back in 2015, in conjunction with Black Diamond, we released our first album, The Billfold Syndrome. And this album is our second one, Novocaine Mutiny, and we have a third one that I'll be working on here in the next couple of years. I'm doing a series of 3 albums. I write everything kind of in 3. So the first album dealt with man versus self. This album deals with man versus man. And the next album is going to deal with man versus the world. That's the 3 main sources of conflict in writing and in situational contexts. But so the first album, Billfold Syndrome, that was a MASH episode, and that title refers to a psychological term used in the 50s and 60s during the war. Soldiers would experience PTSD, traumatic events, and they would blank themselves those memories. And doing so, they would disconnect themselves from the world they were in and enter these mass identity crises. And when they do that, the saying was a person could look at their billfold, look at their picture, and they couldn't place themselves there. So that album was wrapped completely in the thought of self-identity and being in an identity crisis. So it was an appropriate title, and I thought it went really well with it. And musically, it was really polished. It was really kind of a cleaner, straightforward album. This album now, Novocaine Mutiny, now the show itself, the episode, has nothing to do with this at all. But I thought the title was appropriate because the main drive of this album is man versus man. Man versus, pointing out and kind of not attacking, but calling out and standing up to the corrupt who stand in the way of not just personal success, but the progress of humans as a whole, and pointing out that I'm calling them out and not being driven down by them. And so this album has a lot more of an angrier context. It's not as polished, vocally and lyrically. You're going to find it to be a little bit rawer, a little bit more kind of, and that's not because we can't make it sound good, but you don't want to take something that's supposed to be sweet and something that's supposed to be sour. But anyway, so the name Novocaine Mutiny is a MASH episode. But Novocaine Mutiny, the idea I got from that is very simply, you think Novocaine, you think numb, you think unfeeling, not receptive, lacking empathy. And mutiny means, to betray, to backstab, to uphold. And my philosophy is, as a human race, we have 2 obligations. We have an obligation to love our species, our brothers and sisters, and not just the ones that are like us. we're meant to take care of each other, whether they agree with us, the same politics, whether they love the same kind of people we do, whether they're the same color. We're one race, one species. We need to take care of each other, and we need to take care of the place that we've been given to live, or that we were created, that we evolved to live in. This beautiful planet. And we have done such a colossally amazing job of screwing both of those up. And there's so much hate, and there's so much damage, and we've become so immune to it. Like, we're just so used to it. We're so numb to the damage we're inflicting, it seems like, and it's so off. So this album is wrapped in that. This album's gonna have songs that are themed about rape culture. This is about religious corruption, about political corruption, about suicide provocation, and things like that. Environmental cataclysm. So there's a lot of deeper and more aggressive stuff, and the tone of this album is going to be that way. It might be everyone's cup of tea because it's not as polished and pretty. It's going to be raw and kind of serrated. But it's going to be an awesome adventure. We've had so much fun with it. RJ and Coupland and Aaron and Caitlin and Mark and everyone who's contributed has just done so much for it. And I hope you guys are ready for the ride. As of right now, it's scheduled to come out on April 29th. It'll be available through prints, that means CDs, and also online through, I'll list them in the video here, but I think Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, and there's a couple others. I'll list them all where you can purchase this. And I also want to give you guys a quick reminder that we also, because of this opportunity, wanted to go back to the Bill Folds Syndrome, the first release. And we actually took some time and went back and redid some stuff on it, changed some stuff up. So we're doing a re-release and a remaster of that as well to kind of make it a little bit more of what we want it to be. So on April 29th, you'll have the opportunity to buy both albums and be able to hopefully take something away from it. I appreciate it, what everyone does, and I just hope you guys are willing to be taught and willing to think and be led to think about, to learn how to think. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you soon. Bye.